If you replay conversations at night, cringing at the thing you said, convinced everyone could tell how strange and clumsy you are, I want you to know this: you're not awkward, you're unrehearsed. What you call awkwardness is almost always just the gap between a self that's still forming and a script you were never handed. Here's what I mean by that. We talk about awkwardness like it's a permanent trait. Some people are smooth, some people are awkward, and you got dealt the wrong hand. But awkwardness isn't a personality. It's a state. It's what every single human looks like when they're doing something they haven't yet practiced enough to do without thinking. And that's not a defect. That's just the early part of getting good at being yourself around people. Think about the first time you ever drove a car. Every motion was conscious and clumsy. Mirror, signal, clutch, the whole thing stuttering and overthought, your hands stiff on the wheel. You weren't a bad driver, you were an unrehearsed one. And nobody watching a learner stall at a junction concludes they're fundamentally incapable of driving. They just see someone who hasn't done it enough times yet. That stiff, hyper-conscious feeling. That's not who you are. It's where you are on a curve. The smoothness you envy in other people isn't a gift they were born with. It's the same clumsy motions, run 10,000 times, until they dropped below conscious thought. They're not less awkward than you. They're further along the same road you're already on. Let me tell you about someone. I'll call him Theo. Theo was certain he was just an awkward person. The one who laughed a beat too late, who said the slightly wrong thing, who left every gathering replaying his own missteps. He'd built a whole identity around it. He genuinely believed some people had social ease, the way some people have brown eyes, and he simply didn't. But when Theo actually looked at his life, he noticed something. He wasn't awkward everywhere. With his two closest friends, he was funny, warm, completely at ease, fluid. The awkwardness only showed up in new rooms, with new people, in situations he hadn't run enough times to stop monitoring himself. It wasn't a trait, it was a rehearsal level, and the rooms where he felt smooth were just the ones he'd already practiced in. There's real psychology under this, and it comes from a researcher named Anders Ericsson, who spent his career studying how people become skilled. He found that expertise in almost anything follows the same path, from clumsy, effortful, self-conscious beginnings towards smooth, automatic mastery, purely through repetition. He called it deliberate practice. And here's the part nobody applies to social life. Being at ease with people is a skill that follows the exact same curve. And there's a second piece, from a different corner of psychology, something called the spotlight effect. Studies have shown that we wildly overestimate how much other people notice our mistakes. The cringe-worthy thing you said, almost nobody registered it, and the few who did forgot it in minutes. You're the only one running the replay. Everyone else is too busy starring in their own. So, if you spent years calling yourself awkward, here are 3 things I'd ask you to carry. First, awkward is a verb, not a noun. It's something you're doing in a particular moment, not something you are at the core. You feel awkward the way you feel cold. It's a temporary condition responding to a temporary situation, not a fixed fact about your soul. And conditions change the moment the situation does. Find the rooms where you're already fluid, and you'll see the proof. Second, the cringe is the growth, not the failure. That wince of replaying a clumsy moment is your nervous system tagging an experience so it can do better next time. It's the same mechanism that makes you flinch at the memory of a near miss while driving. It feels like shame. It's actually learning. The people who never cringe aren't smooth. They're just not paying attention. Third, you get fluent by staying in the room. The only thing that turns unrehearsed into easy is reps. More rooms, more conversations, more of the very thing the awkwardness is begging you to avoid. Every time you stay instead of fleeing, you run the motion again, and it drops a little closer to automatic. Avoidance keeps you a permanent beginner. Showing up is the practice. So the next time you walk out of a room and feel the cringe rising, I want you to reframe what it is. That's not evidence you're broken at being human. That's the exact same feeling a learner has at the wheel. The conscious, effortful stage that every fluent person passed through to get where they are. The poet Maya Angelou once said that we are only as blind as we want to be. She meant that the story we tell about ourselves becomes the cage we live in. Call yourself awkward, and you'll flee every room that could have made you fluent. Call yourself unrehearsed, and suddenly every room is just more practice. You were never awkward. You were just early on a curve that every easy person already climbed. So stop reading the clumsy stage as a verdict, and go stay in the room long enough for the motions to become yours.